I'm Dave Abrams.
And I'm Kristin Lagata. Welcome to Anne Arundel County Week in Review. In this episode, we'll talk to the county's technology director and we'll take a look at the Health Anne Arundel events coming up this month. But first, making headlines this week. 3 magic numbers are all you have to remember now to access county services. This week, County Executive Steve Shue launched the new 311 system. 311 is a game changer for customer service. If you need to talk to someone directly, you can just dial those 3 numbers and an operator will get you where you need to go. You don't have to remember a bunch of phone numbers or look them up. Now, say you're like us and you don't need to talk to people hardly ever because you're attached to your mobile device. Even easier, just go to the Google Play Store if you're an Android user or the App Store for iPhones and search for Anne Arundel 311. The app is free and has a quick and simple registration process. Once inside the app, you can report lost pets, missed trash pickup, or potholes, just to name a few things. You can send us a picture of the issue and you will automatically receive updates on your phone as the work is completed. Here's what County Executive Shue had to say about this new initiative.
This 311 program falls right in with our efforts to improve customer service here in Anne Arundel County. Using this system, our citizens will be able to report potholes, a lost pet, a failed trash collection, all kinds of issues, easier than ever. Just call or click.
Good stuff, Dave. Customer service has to be easy for the customer. Now, can we download it on my phone now?
Yeah, let's download it. Go ahead.
All right.
So you're going to go, you have an iPhone. Oh, no, you have Android. So you're going to go Google Play.
I'm going to the Google Play Store. And then I'm going to search.
Search for Arundel 311 or Anne Arundel, whichever you prefer. It should come up right at the top.
There it is.
There it is. Boom.
Right there. And it's free.
Totally free.
Totally free.
So there you go, Kristin. You know, if you see a pothole, you know, you're going to be Johnny on the spot now. It's going to be like, boom,
Watch
pothole,
out, potholes.
Done.
Gotcha.
Potholes are going to be in
Coming
trouble
for
after
you.
this.
Watch it.
Well, Kristin, we have to give an oorah, oorah to the wounded warriors who descended on Annapolis this week for the soldier ride. The weather was perfect, the troops were ready, and a great time was had by all. Now, the riders were riding to highlight how to manage mental health through physical activity. Similar rides happened in Chantilly, Virginia, and downtown Washington, D.C., right to the White House South Lawn. If you want to find out more about this organization, go to woundedwarriorsproject.org and read all about it. There are also 100 riders in Annapolis this week, Kristin, so
wow.
Great turnout.
That's
Can
awesome.
We get an oorah?
Oorah!
Oh, yeah. And speaking of veterans, don't forget our Veterans Expo is coming up on Saturday, April 22nd at Annapolis High School. You can find out a lot more about the event by watching our interview last week with Lieutenant Colonel George Matthews from the county's Veterans Affairs Commission. So there you go.
Really cool.
All kinds of good stuff.
Riders.
We're always happy to help our veterans any way we can.
Yeah, and that expo sounds really good, so make sure that you make it there.
Yep.
The county is teaming up with Brooklyn Park citizens to eliminate rats. County Executive Shue announced a new program to address a problem residents have been complaining about for years. The health department will be going door to door, inspecting 5,300 homes and 270 businesses. They will advise on good pest control techniques as well as provide pesticide where necessary. This is a huge effort, Dave. North County Community Advocate Kim Burns will lead the effort to engage the community. The health department is also providing state-of-the-art trash receptacles to keep the rodents away. Are you all rodent-proof for the season, Dave?
You know what? I've learned a little bit about this over the years as a homeowner. Did you know one of the secrets to keeping mice out is steel wool?
Steel wool?
Steel wool.
What?
Because these guys can get into just the smallest crack in your foundation. So you don't just fill the crack with the sealer stuff. You take steel wool and you break it off and you stuff it in there, and then you put the sealer on there, and they can't get through the steel wool. That's a pro tip right here.
I like it.
But you know what? You, as our loyal viewers know, you work for the Department of Public Works.
Yes.
And you coordinate all things recycling.
I do.
And you spend a lot of time meeting with the homeowners groups in Brooklyn Park, and I'm sure you've heard about this issue before.
Yeah, we've heard about it before. Absolutely.
Yeah, so, I mean, you know, you happen to be on the share border with the urban area with the city of Baltimore, and people feel like they haven't been able to get a handle on this, and this is like a full court press here. So maybe now that you're going to those meetings up in Brooklyn Park, you'll be welcomed with open arms. You can talk more about recycling and less about other trash issues.
All about managing your trash at the curb, Dave.
Tell us about that. So, and I know this is near and dear to your heart. So people are going to be able to receive special trash cans for this.
That's coming from the health department.
That's right. Now, as on the recycling side, what is your tip for people? Just because you have another trash can, that doesn't mean
you shouldn't recycle.
That you shouldn't recycle. Walk us through that.
Well, a lot of those items that you're putting into the recycling don't have the food that are attracting the rats. If you're having issues with rinsing stuff out, make sure you put the lid back on. That will just help make sure that you're keeping rats
before you
and
put it in the
pests
recycling.
away. Before you put it in the recycling bin. With your trash, making sure that it's in a bag, tightly knotted, making sure that you're using a container with a tightly fitted lid. That's so important in managing the rodent issue. And with recycling, we also offer the recycling division has the carts now with the lids. So Waste Management has the recycling thing down. So and the new trash receptacles that the health department will be handing out have a lid as well.
So just because you have another receptacle now, that doesn't mean stop doing your recycling.
You got it.
Just because you got these extra things around, you throw it in there.
Important to recycle.
You got to recycle.
Absolutely.
You must recycle. It's very important. Right?
I agree with you.
All right.
Especially because also coming up on April 22nd is
what? Earth Day.
Yay.
Kristin's third favorite holiday.
That's right.
Third?
Still
Did I
doesn't
get
pass
that?
Halloween.
Yeah. And you were named after one, so.
Right.
Okay.
Christmas.
Well, we're going to take a quick break, and when we return, we'll talk to Rick Napolitano to find out more about this 311 program. Take a look at our community calendar for events happening around town, and we'll be right back.
This is the story of a boy who was very sensitive to lights and sounds. So he built secret hiding places where nothing could get in. The boy didn't like looking people in the eye. It made him feel uncomfortable. One day, he found out he had something called autism. His family got him help. And slowly, he learned how to live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
Well, welcome back. Joining us in the studio this week, we're delighted to have Mr. Rick Napolitano. He's the director for the county's Office of Information Technology. Rick, thank you for joining us today.
Glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Oh, yeah, and absolutely the hot topic we wanted to talk to you about, of course, is 311. That's what they're talking about in the streets. So we want to know.
It's very lots
hot.
of chatter
Very
going
hot,
on.
Lots of chatter. We want to talk about the process of setting up the 311 system with you. What goes into that?
Sure, great question. We, about a year ago, I guess it was, late last spring, the county exec came and said, I'd like to do some kind of ability to have the citizens have an easier access into the, into the community, into the county. And so we went out and investigated different options, and in that investigation we learned that it could be a very expensive prospect. So we got together with the technology team and said, what options do we have? And what we did is we separated the front office, which is the citizen interface, to the back office, which is the process that takes place to process the request. We did all that. We came up with a SaaS solution, which is a cloud capability, and now we have it, and we're out and rolling, and it's allowed us to be very flexible, very agile, and we're very pleased with the end product.
It's very exciting. And tell us about what kind of equipment, what kind of people it takes to run 311?
Like I said, there are many versions that we could work through, some of them very expensive. And so a little bit of our budget was limiting to what we could accomplish. Fortunately, technology has leapfrogged, so you can get away from the heavy investment in infrastructure and you can go straight to lighter versions. And so this cloud solution is a company called C-Click-Fix, and they have a product, and what we did is we used their product for the front end, and then we built a middleware layer, which I know doesn't make a lot of sense to people. It just allows the front end to interface to the back end, and no matter how old the back end system is, and we have a lot of very old back end systems. From people perspective, we didn't want to hire a lot of new people, so what we're trying to do is use a daisy chain effect, which allows people in existing jobs to use a time slice of their time, and then the technology on the phone systems would bounce from person to person to person. So effectively we have a virtual call center as opposed to a centralized call center.
Okay.
I like to call it deputizing. We deputize some people that we knew have been around for a long time, and they know the information. They don't have to look it up. When someone calls, they know, oh, that's inspections and permits, or that's planning and zoning.
It gets your call where it needs to go.
Right. So we have some really good people in there.
That's actually a very good comment, because what we did is we took those people who were very good at their job and we collected that data and we put it into systems so that now people who are less experienced have the benefit of the knowledge of the people that had more experience. And that was actually a big part of the whole process, putting it together. It's a very good comment.
Well, thank you very much. Well, walk us through the app, how the app works. So to use the term of art, how does the back end function? When someone is out in their neighborhood and they see a pothole, they take a picture with the app and they file an issue through the mobile application. What happens?
That's an excellent question, and what I want to highlight first is the fact that there is a voice component and there is a digital component, and so that allows the full spectrum of our citizens to interface with us. Obviously, those people who are more senior, more familiar with the phone, they want to pick up 311 and they can go to it. Those people that prefer the mobile or prefer the web, either way, can do exactly as you said. They can take a picture, they take a click, and now what that does is it sends the data to our internal systems. Our internal systems then capture that information, and the first thing we do is acknowledge back to the person or the reporting person, hey, we've got your information, which in and of itself is a big step forward, because one of the issues of dealing with the county is I never know what happened. First of all, having a hard time getting in. Second of all, when I report it, the data, I don't know what's been happening. It could sit there for years and years and years and no one know about it. So we immediately go back to them with acknowledgement, we've got your data. Then internally we take that information and we process it in different directions. So if it's an animal control thing, we send it to the animal control people. If it's a roads thing, we send it to the roads people. Then they do the analysis assessment of what it's going to take to fix it, and when they do, we send a note back to the constituent to say, here's what your issue is. Sometimes, the way we have it today, it'll go into a different system, in which case we'll close down the current report, send them a note, and give them the tracking number of how they can track it until it's finally closed. So I don't know if that addresses all the question, but that's kind of the process.
It does, and it's so impressive all the time when I get to work with your department and to see how you come up with solutions. You're using essentially, what, 5, 6, 7 different databases, some of which are DOS-based that have been around for 20 years.
Correct.
And you get them to talk to the new stuff that's
Correct.
just coming out.
Correct.
And so you had to do that with each department to make 311 work.
That is correct,
Yeah.
and that is the challenge, which is one of the reasons we separated the front office, the citizen-facing, because that was much easier to do from the back office systems, because we will be many years integrating all of those different systems.
We haven't had an opportunity. Thank you for the information about 311. I'm sure it's going to be a big success, and you get a lot of credit for that because you did a great job with it. But we want to get to know Rick Napolitano a little better. So tell us a little bit about what you did just prior to joining the county, to tell everyone that you may know a little bit about technology.
That's a great question.
I know you're humble. You don't want to brag.
Yeah. I should have that problem. I did come from AirInc. Those people in Anne Arundel County are very familiar with. It's an airline aviation company. We do a lot of work. And what we did is we enabled technology to communicate from the air to the ground, and then get that data back to the various carriers, air carriers, American, Delta, Southwest, et cetera. My role there was I ran a couple business units, and then towards the latter part of my career, the CEO asked if I would take some of the component parts and integrate them into a back office, which eventually I became the CIO for the corporation. So I spent a good amount of time there. Then I moved on to Rockwell, which is another aviation community, was a division CIO. Mm-hmm. And from that, a time came up they wanted me to go overseas to be manage their international division, and I wasn't ready to take on all that travel, so opportunity opened up here and with Steve, and
we lucked out. Can you imagine the homework when he was in school?
Jeez, yeah.
Can you even know, right? No way.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
And so this is kind of 301 that's wrapping up. We're going to see how it goes, but as far as your job with it, you're good to go. So what would you say is the biggest project next that you're working on currently?
It's a hard question to answer because, as you know, the county exec has broken the county up into what he calls these core groups. And these core groups break around land use, public safety. And so if I said what's my favorite or biggest project, I might slight somebody. So what we do is we break them down by the core group. We have a $50 million 800 megahertz radio system that we're replacing, and that will be going on for the next 5 or 6 years. We have 2 very large land use projects which will enable citizens to interact with the planning and zoning groups at a more effective way and allow them to move things through the process faster. And then we have some internal systems, HRIS, which is a human resource information system, and Arundel County runs about $500 million a year in labor cost, and that's not really managed well from a systems perspective. I'm not saying the people aren't managed well, they are managed very well, but keeping track of all of that and moving things through the system is we have a lot of efficiencies that we could gain there.
And that's like 80% of our budget is personnel.
That's huge.
That's I never even thought about how much money that would save.
It's a lot of money.
Now,
all you have to do is save a very small percent of that and you get some really large numbers.
I think I know part of the key to your success is balance, right? I understand that you are also a pastor, is that correct?
That is correct.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Interesting story. I think shortly out of college, my life was invaded by grace, and then a few years ago, actually almost 7 or 8 now, our pastor's wife died, and he had to leave the ministry for a while. So we were looking for a new pastor, and so I said I would fill in for a short period of time. Well, it ended up being almost a 3-year mission to handle that. So I was the pastor for a local church in there, enjoyed it immensely. And still, I'm assistant pastor at the church. In fact, we got a senior pastor, and I just stepped down to help.
Can we give a shout out to the church?
Absolutely. It's called Crosspoint Church.
Oh, I know where Crosspoint Church is.
Do you?
Yes.
Well, please come by. It's right across from the community college.
Well, it's easy to see why you excel at that. You're an excellent speaker, very engaging, and it was an honor to have you here today.
Well, that's kind of you. Thank you very much.
Making waves because of Mr. Rick Napolitano. We'll be right back with more Week in Review right after this. Don't go anywhere. Thank you for coming.
1 in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger, and millions more live in isolation.
America, let's do lunch.
Drop off a hot meal and say a quick hello. Volunteer for Meals on Wheels by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
Welcome back. Last week we kicked off Health Anne Arundel Month with a bang, and this week Sara Gannon has a preview of all of the events coming up. Sarah?
Thanks, guys. Joining me today is Lieutenant Ryan Frazier, Stu Smith, and Carol Boyer. We're going to talk a little bit about Healthy Anne Arundel this month. Carol, can you tell us a little bit of information about Healthy Anne Arundel?
Sure. Healthy Anne Arundel Month is an initiative of our Healthy Anne Arundel Coalition, and it is a part of a way that we can reach out to our community and help implement our vision of healthy county, healthy people.
Very good, and that's everybody in the county.
That's everybody from the top down, and we have some exciting events coming up all during this month, over 300 events that are occurring.
And that's in all areas of the county?
Correct.
Northwest, east, and south?
Yep. We divided the county into 4 regions, and we have team leads for each of those regions that help gather together events that are already occurring, and also we have started our own signature events that we want to do every year.
Great. Now, Lieutenant Frazier, can you tell me a little bit about this awesome event that's coming up that the police are involved that I've heard?
Yeah, so we have a very cool event coming up that we've called our Healthy Anne Arundel Law Enforcement Fit Challenge. So it's an opportunity for our police officers here with the Anne Arundel County Police Department and the Annapolis City Police Department. We have gotten together and gotten teams where we're going to do an obstacle course and do a physical fitness program that Stu puts on. So it's a great way for our officers to take advantage and to get healthy and get fit for this month. And it's a good way to work in partnership in the community with programs like Stu, who we're lucky enough to have here in the community and offer his time and be so nice to volunteer his time and his effort for a group like this. So we're looking forward to it. We're very excited. We're looking forward to some friendly competition as well as getting healthy. So the National Law Enforcement Officers just put out that between 2014 and 2016, heart attacks amongst law enforcement officers are actually down 44% due to fitness and staying in shape. So that's a trend we really like as a law enforcement community, and that's something that we want to continue. So we're just glad to be involved. We're glad to be involved and hooked up with Stu, and I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be fun.
Very good. Stu, can you tell folks what your role is in this?
Sure. I design programs for military law enforcement and firefighters and those who want to serve in those communities. In fact, we have a program here in the Severna Park Community Center called the Heroes of Tomorrow, where I pre-train kids for any military law enforcement firefighter program that they want to get into, and it's free, completely free training. What I'm doing here for the Healthy Anne Arundel Month is creating a obstacle course, an injured man drill, where we're going to actually be working pretty hard with teamwork with the police and sheriff's department, and creating a challenge for them that is not only fun and physical, but also requires great teamwork.
Very good. Teamwork gets you a long way. Carol, when is the event taking place, and can the public see this event?
Sure. Actually, this will be occurring on April 29th, Saturday, April 29th, at our closing ceremony, our Hands of Hope Spring into Health and Wellness Fair at Marley Station Mall. And these guys are going to go on at 12 o'clock noon, so you have to come out and you have to cheer them on, right?
That's right. And is there any website or Facebook page that people can look at to get any information of all the events coming up?
Sure. If you go to www.healthyannearundel.org, go to the special events calendar, everything's listed there. There are over 300 events, but this is really, bar none, the newest and one that we're really, really excited about having for the first year.
Very good. And you've done some great work on the committee, so you should be proud of yourself and everybody else on the committee. Very good.
Oh, thank you. It's a great team.
Very good. Well, thank you. And if you get a chance, make sure you check into these events and just be healthy. Try to be healthy. And before we go, all right, Lieutenant Frazier, give me 20.
No, there's no way to do that.
Thanks. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Sarah. Please make sure you take your healthy selfie and post it on social media with the Healthy Selfie hashtag to qualify for a prize, including a Fitbit. I want that Fitbit.
It's like a Fitbit yada yada. It's like
Is it the new one?
The new hotness.
Ooh, my mom got one
You know,
for
Men
her
in
birthday.
Black, the new hotness.
Yeah.
Oh,
the new
your mom got one?
Yeah, it's nice.
She likes it?
I want one now. Yeah.
Awesome.
Very cool. So, speaking of getting fit and being outside.
So I'm going to defer to you on this because I was kind of busy this week.
Oh, my goodness.
You went to opening day.
Yes,
you made it a holiday. You did the whole thing.
How about them O's, hon?
They won.
It was fantastic. It went into overtime. We went to the 11th inning. And then, Mark Trumbo. Jumbo Trumbo hit it out. Got that home run.
So
finally.
you're not really missing Matt Wieters, huh?
No. But can I just say how nice it was to give it right back to Toronto after the playoffs last season?
Well, plus the Orioles were disrespected again this year. They were again picked like worst in the division. I mean, they get no credit. Like, what's going on here?
In the words of my good friend Taylor Swift.
Oh,
haters
we're
want to hate.
We're gonna quote Tay Tay.
Hate. Shake it off.
And players.
I love when they make those predictions.
Play.
Let us show you're wrong. Whatever.
Well, we know the Orioles are going to show
Go
everybody.
O's.
And by the way, I know nobody cares because
Go
it's
Nats.
all Orioles and Ravens. The Washington Wizards are the 4th seed in the NBA. They beat the Cleveland Cavaliers, or as I call them, the LeBrons. They beat them handily, okay? So we got ourselves a squad here, and people need to start paying attention. That's for me.
That's exciting. Also, new ballpark food in the stadium. Can I just say real quick, burnt ends hot dog, the chicken crab dip sub, oh my gosh, and I had some dumplings.
Dumplings?
At a baseball game.
Wait, real
great.
quick question, are the edges of the hot dog burnt?
Burnt.
I love that.
I know. Burnt ends hot dog.
It's like you got that char taste when you get to the middle.
Camden Yards is
That
killing
is
it.
mind-blowing, Kristin.
Killing it, baby.
Woo!
Yeah.
Well, that wraps up this week's edition of Week in Review. You can watch this episode and archived episodes online anytime on Facebook or YouTube by simply searching for Arundel TV. Please tune in again next week for more highlights and news from around the county, and we'll see you next time.